Hey, good morning, man. Torsen Tease Guitars. What's going on, family? Hey, so we're going to unbox an ST1. I'm going to show you how I set them up, or how we set them up, the procedure we use to do that. Um, and so you can kind of learn by yourself. You know, nothing like getting a guitar taken out of the box and then going, okay, well, it's just not the way I like it. And let me run it down to whatever music store you got. And they tell you, okay, it'll be about 10 days and anywhere from, $50 to $100, sometimes even a little bit more. So we're going to show you how to do that with just some simple tools. You don't need everything that I'm gonna use. Okay, this is just what we use. We use the Music Nomad F1 oil, and that's for your fretboard. We use the Music Nomad Tune It Everything string change, and we're going to change some strings today. I'm going to show you how to do that. We use just simple 3-in-1 oil for the tuners. You're going to need some Q-tips. If you got a luthier's kit, some cutters. If not, steal the old lady's nail clippers, man. Don't worry about it; they'll work too. And then let's see. These are, people call them nut files. They're not nut files. They're actually torch cleaners for torches, acetylene torches. This is a good. It's a fret guide. You have that in your luthier's kit. If not, again, don't worry about any of that stuff. You don't need all this stuff in order to do that. Sanding block, that comes in your luthier's kit. We're going to have a couple of files. We're going to have a string gauge ruler right here. We're going to have a little piece of 0000 steel wool, ultra fine. It's finer than the finest sandpaper you can get. And we're going to have a screwdriver. And that's going to do it. So let's get this thing out of the box. Let me clear off my workspace and I'll be right back. Okay, so a couple of other things that we're going to be using too is, it's a straight edge, or this is a luthier's fretboard ruler. If you don't have one of these, you can use a straight edge. You can use a ruler. You can use one of those plastic napkin placemats on your kitchen table there. And then I use a little skill drill, and it's got a little attachment. This just makes it faster because I set up a whole bunch of guitars, man. And instead of using a winder or using my hands to do it. Again, all optional. You don't need any of them to get by with this. So let's get right into it. Let's open up this box. And a tuner comes in handy if you got one. All right. This over here. Alright, up at the top of the guitar you're going to find your tremolo. This comes standard on the ST1s, anything that has a trem bridge on it. And you're also going to get the Allen wrench for the truss rod adjustment, and the Allen wrench for your saddle adjustment. So here we have this is the new ST1. It's in Arctic White. Let's see, let's get this paper off of here. I'm going to save this paper, because you're going to need it. Alright. There we go. Alright, first thing I want to do is I want to look at this guitar, right? I want to make sure that all the string heights are identically the same. And alright. Everything looks really good on this guitar. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is detune this thing. pop these strings here in a minute. So yeah, I just put new strings on every guitar I get. It doesn't matter what kind of guitar it is. They come from the factory. They're good strings. They're 10 gauge 1046s, which I'm going to replace these with 1046s, but I like my particular. And while I got everything off, I want to just go ahead and do a few checks on my new guitar. So changing the strings is probably the easiest thing in the world to do while you got it all apart, right? Don't be intimidated by taking your guitar apart, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Just pop the strings off. There we go. I always like to keep a little bag handy. You can see I do a couple of these. I just put them in that trash can. That way I'm not vacuuming that crap up later. Okay, and these should just pop right through. Yeah. Okay. And the last one may be a few little problems. That's not a big deal. Now I have a workbench. I've set this little thing up here so I can get my camera doesn't reach my workbench, but a workbench is nice to do this on. Make sure you got plenty of room. You can do this on your kitchen table. You don't have a camera or anything, so not to fear. All right, so that last string doesn't want to come out, okay? Just standard because these things are put on by people that are in a hurry. Okay? We're going to take this out. We're going to take our little Allen wrenches here. We're just going to pop that right down in that last little saddle and just pop it down in, and there we go. That's it. All right, so now we got all of our strings out. Get rid of those. All right. Just keep my Allen wrenches and things like that where I can see them because we're going to use those in a minute. So the first thing I want to do is I want to check the neck relief. What do you do? We just put a straight edge on this thing. And we're looking to see if we see any light between the bottom of the teeth and the guitar neck, and there's absolutely none. These come set up really nice. The neck release, 99 out of 100 guitars is perfect. Every once in a while you may find one that doesn't have it that's perfect, but it's real simple to fix. And if you do see a little light and your neck is a little bit concaved, what we're going to do is we're going to take this bigger Allen wrench that was in your kit. We're going to gently slide it in here, okay, and we're going to pull it about an eighth of a turn, not more than an eighth of a turn. That'll get rid of any little tiny bit of light that you have. You don't want to go too tight. You don't want to go too loose. If you have it bowed and there's light on the outside, that means it's bowed, and we're going to go the opposite way, right? We're going to turn it away from our body, right? Away from the top of the guitar down to the bottom of the guitar. All right, so we're fine there. I'm going to check for sharp frets. This does not have any sharp frets. Let's say it did. In your ST1 guitar, you got a little sanding sponge, okay? If you have the Luthier's kit, you've got a bigger one. We're going to use this little one, and I'm just going to touch this up. It doesn't need it, but I'm going to show you how quick this is, right? And when I say it doesn't need it today, okay? If you're like me, you come home from work, your guitar's probably in a room. It's got a heater or an air conditioner in it. It's wintertime right now. During the winter, the coldest years of the month is when the wood shrinks the most. It just does. When you have an unfinished maple neck, it's going to shrink. The metal's not going to shrink, but the wood is, and that's going to give you sharp frets. This guitar right here will have sharp frets in about a month and a half when it gets super cold. I promise you, they all do. Every one of my guitars does, and I'm not talking just about the Tease guitars. Unfinished maple necks, they're just notorious for it. And that's your Fender Super Stratosonic and all the other little affinities and the Jackson. Anything with an unfinished maple neck, you're going to get that with, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to polish these frets up real quick, okay? I'm not going to do every single one. I am going to do every single one, but I'm going to stop the camera. Okay, and we just take our steel wool and our fret guide, Let me just go over that. Okay. It makes a world of difference when you polish your frets. I can tell you right now, I can see a big difference. So I'm going to do one more for you, and you're just going to put the fret guide right over the top of this. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Right over the top of the fret, and you don't need to use a ton of pressure. You don't need to use a ton of pressure at all. Okay. These frets come set. You can check them. Just put a flat piece of, this is a sanding block. It's a metal sanding block with paper on it. And we've got a flat radius neck too. So if your neck is concaved a little bit, you're going to, these are perfect. Your neck is going to, the string adjustments and things like that are a little different. All the ST1s have this, the 12-inch flat C-shaped radius neck, okay? So let me go finish up these frets and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're done with the frets. They look nice. I'm gonna take, I've got one rag for oil and one rag for polish. We're going to take that. Now we're going to take this Music Man, or Music Nomad, excuse me. It doesn't matter. We can just don't use lemon oil on maple wood maple finish next. This stuff works great. It's not expensive. It's $8, $9. It'll last you a lifetime. I just put a drop on every fret, right? Let's take my rag here. Rub that in real good. Rub it in real good. There we go. This is also getting off any of that that leftover steel wool. And again, that 0000 ultra fine steel wool. I get mine on Amazon. It's a couple of rolls for like $7. It's relatively cheap. Take some time with this, man. You know, make your guitar perfect for you. Take some pride in your work. Alright, so that's all done. What I do is I take my stuff from one end of the workbench and I put it on the other. That way I know that I've done everything that I needed to do, right? So we've done that, we've done that, we've done that. Done the frets, sanded the frets. These are nice and smooth, man, I gotta tell you. Alright, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to check these tuners. Make sure that they're not sloppy. They're all nice and tight. Not too tight, but nice and tight. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some, just some 3-in-1 oil, right? Put this on the carpet or get in trouble. Alright, so I'm just going to put a couple of drops on that. I'm going to go right on the top of these things. Right on the top of the little rubbers. There we go. A little bit on the top here. One Q-tip full, about 2-3 drops on this Q-tip. It's enough for all of this. You don't want to make a big old sticky long mess, right? Alright. Get rid of that. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna change the strings on this. So I'm gonna line up all my eye holes in the same position, which is it's about halfway between straight down and straight out at 90-degree angle. So we're going to go about 45 degrees. And while I'm doing this, I'm also working some of that oil in, right? There we go. Get them all. I'll go around on this one. Right there. Work that oil in. There we go. Alright. And we get it right about there. And we should be good to go with that. Alright. So we're going to need that in a second here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And I've got some of this tune it. Every string change, right? It's a good opportunity as well. So we're just going to take this, they give you a little tool, you put it down in there. There we go. And we're just going to go on a nut. We're going to put a little bit of lube in the nut. Same thing on your saddles, just a little bit. It's that groove in between the two adjustment screws on your saddles, okay? Let's put a little bit of that. This stuff will literally a tube. I've set up hundreds and hundreds of guitars and I still got the same tube. It lasts forever. So that goes there, that'll go there, and that'll go there, so we're out of that. We're running out of tools. That means we're almost done, okay? So let me take these strings out of the package and we'll get started on restringing the guitar. Okay, so I turn my guitars over. I just turn the strings upside down here. I got a packet of Ernie balls, 1046s, and I'm just going to put all these in there just like so. Right there. Just pull those down. We'll go right down the line. Okay, so we got all of our strings slotted through the body, and we're going to start with these E string. So what I do, let's go right there, all the way through, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this at the second, 2 eyelets up, 2 tuners up, about halfway up. Okay, this is important. Push it down. I'm going to keep that same spot where I'm at, and I'm going to wrap this first string around the top of that string, okay? And then I'm pulling this string way over here and low. Way over there and low. And now we're going to go under, right? There's a reason I do that. When you go over and under, it pinches the string, and it helps your guitar stay in tune a lot better. Okay, so there we go. So now I've kind of cross-threaded the the string. All right. And I cut these pretty short. Just to not cut my hands when I'm tuning my guitar. All right. Do the second one here so I can show you again. Okay, we're just going to go through. We're going up to that second tuner. Okay, it's two from the second, so we're at the 4th tuner. Pull it back down. Take your string in your right hand, wrap it around the top of that string, then pull down. Right now we're going to go on the bottom of it. And we've now pinched off that second string. Now make sure these are in the saddle. I just give them a good yank right there and there. All right, I'll be right back. Let me do these other 4 strings. Be right back with you. All right, so now we've got our strings on. Guitar's not tuned, doesn't really matter at this point. Just get all the strings nice and tight. And a stretch anyways. Let's see. So, where are we at? There we go. So now we want to check the heights of the string, and I check this at the 12th fret. I've got a string gauge. If you don't have a string gauge, this quarter right here, okay, if you put this on both frets on the 12th and 13th fret, and you see some room and I see some room, so this tells me that this guitar, this quarter is 1.75 millimeters thick. So I have a feeling when I put my string gauge on here, my string ruler on here, it's going to be right at 2, okay? Now I'm going to check this bottom one here next to it. Again, right at 2, right at 2, little under 2. This is, so these bottom 3 are at 1.75. Yep. So the top 3 are at 2 and the bottom 3 are at 1.75. Okay? So they're all uniformed. They're right where they're supposed to be. exactly where they're supposed to be. These guitars are different than other guitars that I've gotten. Other guitars have been way out of whack, okay? If they're way out of whack, you got to do one string at a time. Check every one. With the Tease, I guarantee you, with the Tease ST1, we're going to do this the way that I do it here. On every single guitar is the same. So we're going to go a half a turn on this saddle right here. Let me put the, so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I've done a half a turn on the inside of the saddle, then a half a turn on the outside of the saddle, right? I'm going to do the same thing over here. We go right there, half. I'm going to go half. I'm going to go half. 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 And a half. All right, now I got to check this, right? You don't have a string ruler. Let me put a quarter in here. So now that's actually touching that string. So now we know, right? From 2 to 1.75 for every half a turn. So I like my action about 150. So we're going to repeat that process. Go half. 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 The reason that I do them all the same is because all the string height was good, right? So we don't want to mess that up. There we go. This is not going to mess your intonation up. These cards, they do come intonated, excuse me. So there we have it. Should be right on the money now at 1.5. If you want to go lower, you can go lower. Fret ruler, fret ruler. There it is. All right, so now I'll check this again. Right on the money at 1.5. 1.5 there. We're at 1.25, 1.25, and 1.25 in all the strings. Okay. So now we're going to tune this guitar up so we can check it out. I'll be right back after I tune it. Okay, so let's see. A little off there, a little off there. So again, this is right out of the box. Okay, the intonation on these is going to be right. It's just right on the money every time. I make sure that they do that at the factory for you guys because that's one of the things that's it's kind of hard to deal with if you don't know what you're doing. So I make it to where you don't have to worry about doing what you're doing. If for some reason the intonation is a little bit off, this is the adjustment for that right here. Okay, these screws. If you tighten it, that's going to it's going to make the string longer. If you loosen it, it's going to make the string. I'm sorry, the opposite. If you tighten it, it's going to make the string a little shorter. You loosen it, a little longer. So a little short for flat, a little longer, or a little short for yeah, a little short for flat. Yep, I think I'm right there. Well, you'll know if you get it wrong. I've done it several times and loosen it the other way if you're out. You shouldn't have that problem at all. Okay. I noticed on these guitars that the pickups they're a little tiny low from where I like them. I get a little more pop out of, especially out of the bridge pickup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger down here on the very last fret, right? Very last fret, and I'm going to bring it up to where that's not touching very first fret. Same thing. It's about a quarter turn. It's not much on these. There we go. Same thing. I'm going to leave my finger there. Quarter turn. Quarter turn. It's just a little bit brighter. And we'll do the same thing over here. Down, a little down. And the reason I do that, put my finger here on the last fret, is so when you're strumming, it doesn't hit the magnets and pop on you. All right. Let's take her for a spin, huh? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check for fret buzz. So I'm sure you guys can find a better way to spend an hour, you know, an hour and a half doing that. It takes a minute. We can get into some other stuff. I'll do some more videos on fret crowning and, and sanding your frets down, getting everything even like that. That's not too hard either. But you know, learning how to get into your guitar and fix it yourself, it's fulfilling. It's a lot of fun to do. You get to take pride in the outcome and the finished product and things like that. So if you got a new Tease guitar, man, an ST1 and ST2, or you know, an SB, it's not much different on the SB and the SBHs. You know, just remember this stuff. You don't need all the tools. I suggest that you get them. It just makes it fun. It makes it easier. Plus, you get to get out of the house, spend a little money, right? The Luthier's kit is on our website. The guitar's on our website. I now have a floor model, right? I can sell, open box type deal, and that's at www.teaseguitars.com. Man, you know, we're always having a lot of fun. I hope this really helped you out, man. I hope this really helped you out, and you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to us, follow us. You know, we appreciate that. We're trying to grow as a company, and every little bit helps. But again, www.teaseguitars, man. It's where all the action is, right? It's where all the action is. So that guitar ended up being at .150, which is where I like it. You can get them down to 1 millimeter even without any fret buzz. And guitar's intonated. It comes right out of the box. We took it right out of the box. It's a nice little guitar, man. It's a nice little guitar. So come on, enjoy the family, won't you? And as always, guys, rock on, man.